Okay, can you guys see the presentation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, curly haircuts 101. So what is a curly cut? A curly cut is a specialized hair cutting technique for curly, wavy, coily, or kinky hair. Curly cuts are performed on dry hair to sculpt and enhance natural curl patterns, volume, and definition. Curly cuts they help to reduce frizz and bulk. Cutting curl by curl removes excess bulk that causes the pyramid shape, the dreadful triangle, resulting in less frizz and better defined curls. It helps give you a tailored shape and definition. Dry cutting hair in its natural state allows the stylist to see how each curl falls, personalizing the shape that maximizes your curl pattern. It also helps with no surprise length. Because the hair is cut dry, you won't experience dramatic shrinkage. And it helps to define curls. They teach the hair how to form its natural shape better. How to find a curly stylist. Okay, so if you're on the hunt for a curly stylist, these are some tips that can help you search. You can search Instagram with the hashtag curly cut, or you can do hashtag natural hairstylist plus your city. An example of this is natural hairstylist Houston. If you love a curly content creator's cut, ask them who is their stylist and how they describe that particular cut. You can check stylists' Instagram portfolios, read comments and reviews, and of course, send DMs and ask questions. Research the stylist and make sure you see the look you're hoping for successfully executed on their page. You can also check EcoSlay's authorized retailers list, and you can visit curlmaps.com to search for curly stylists in your area. And that was actually new to me. I checked it out, and you can see if there are stylists with certain certifications, like a Rizzo cut certification. You should bring to your appointment photo or video inspiration. Bring several examples of the haircut you like, because visually you are both looking at the same thing, so it provides little room for error. Highlight what it is you like about the cut and be specific about what you do not want. Bring cash. Sometimes when you pay with a card, salons may charge an extra percentage for a credit card usage, so you might want to bring your cash. And bring your questions. This is a great time to ask about products, techniques, and a maintenance routine tailored to your specific curls. Does the salon use EcoSlay? So if you're going to visit a salon and you want to know if they're carrying your favorite hair care line, check their IG profile or Facebook for product tags. You can look for plant-based sustainable salons, so that's a Google search, and ask if they carry EcoSlay products. And again, you can also check EcoSlay's list of authorized retailers. So here we have a video showing the beautiful work of Promethean hair. Just wanted to show. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. How to prep your hair. So definitely start off by asking your stylist how they would like you to come to your appointment. For the most part, they will ask for you to come with your hair clean, dry, and detangled. Wear your hair down and natural, and avoid putting it in a bun or a braid because it can stretch out your curl pattern. So I made a quick little demo to show you how I prep my hair for a curly haircut. Curly haircut, here we come. Let's face it, as curly girls, we use a good amount of stylers. So it's super important to go to our appointment with our hair and scalp super clean. Start off with a quarter size of EcoSlay's Chai Latte. Add a little water and start to emulsify until you see this beautiful lather. This cleanser is perfect to gently clarify, removing buildup, residue, any excess oil without stripping the moisture from your hair. The first cleanse, I like to focus on my scalp. Not only does it gently clarify, but it also has ingredients like burdock root and sage that help to stimulate scalp circulation. For the second cleanse, I like to focus on the length and go in with a more moisturizing cleanser. I'll choose between the Silver Slay or the Terrasol Herbal Cleanser, but today we're going with the Terrasol. This creamy herbal cleanser was designed to refresh and revitalize locked hair, but Loose Naturals can use it as well. It has a really divine herbal scent, and it has ingredients like peppermint leaf for a cooling sensation. It also has a yarrow to soothe and marshmallow root for softness. Make sure to use a roping motion to pull the cleanser down your length and get your hair squeaky clean. Oh, but we're not done. We need to tone. This step is non-negotiable. Spray ginger and moringa tea rinse onto your hair and scalp. This helps to remove buildup, and it also helps to moisturize and soothe an itchy scalp. It literally works instantly. We're not done. Let's restore the moisture with banana cream.
If you haven't tried this yet, I have to say when I apply it to my hair, it instantly softens my hair. My hair tends to kind of like mat together, and banana cream softens it, makes it feel like silky soft hair. It makes my hair more manageable and makes detangling 100 times easier than any other conditioner.
Take this time to start finger detangling your hair and gently separating any knots. Working in small sections, use a wide tooth comb to gently detangle your ends and then work your way up to the roots. Be patient when detangling to avoid breakage. Banana cream delivers so much slip, and it's because of its incredible ingredients like okra extract, aloe vera, and coconut cream. This incredible slip reduces detangling time and breakage. The last step is to let your hair air dry in its natural state. Okay, so this is the last slide, but we are not done. We will come back to this. Let me stop sharing. Okay, so now that we've briefly covered curly cuts, let's jump into some questions with Rachel. Rachel, before we start, would you like to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit more about you?
Yeah. One, I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on and be in this space with you all today. I really appreciate it. I am extremely passionate. So when I speak, if I sound like I'm mad, I'm not mad. I'm just very passionate about everything curly and just everything healthy hair. So bear with me if I'm very direct. That's where it's coming from with love. It's because I love this industry and I love people so much. And I want to be clear and concise in how to communicate what's best for you all. So that's where that comes from. I have been doing curly hair, and I've been doing all textures for my entire career. Everything from bone straight to kinky coily for 18 years. I graduated beauty school in 2008, but I was doing relaxers and all kinds of naughty things in my kitchen. Like, I joke that my first clients were my Barbie dolls, and I wasn't allowed to have Barbies till I was 7. So I know when I had my first client because I was 7. And I think as far as the salon, it ended up evolving into being more curl and color focused because that is such a huge need in the industry. I feel like curly hair is not well represented globally. It's becoming more represented globally. It's not well represented in the beauty industry in general. And the tighter the curls, the less education there has been historically. Yeah, that's just a little bit about me. There was a need and we wanted to fill it because I already know how to care for curls. So I've done classes, but I was mostly self-taught. I was dry cutting the moment I left beauty school, because in beauty school, I watched my instructors, tell me if I'm talking too much. I watched my instructors do a lot of finishing work on haircuts, whether it was straight hair or curly hair. It was like all of the magic of a cut was happening when the hair was dry after we had already washed it and styled it. Mm-hmm. And that just unlocked something in me where I started cutting people's hair when they were in my chair dry. And this was before a lot of the like diva curl cutting and all of the cutting techniques that started to come out later on. And so intuitively, it just made sense. I could see how much density there was. I could see the curl pattern. I could see cowlicks. I could see a lot more information. I could see how the hair falls naturally before I started washing and setting and styling, because then I'm manipulating the hair. And so anyway, that's kind of how my dry cutting started. And then it just evolved and got better over time, better techniques, better products. And so, yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So we're going to jump into some questions. And then I know you had a deck you wanted to show. And then we wanted to have time for the audience to ask some questions, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. So my first question for you is there a specific haircut that works best for certain hair types?
Yes and no. There are reasons why not to get a certain type of haircut. So, for instance, a reso cut, in my opinion, would not be a good fit for someone who has a lot of damage, a lot of breakage, because they're going in and they're texturizing the hair while they're also creating a beautiful shape. They are, when your hair has a lot of matting naturally, or a lot of tangling naturally, or a lot of breakage, brittleness, any of those things, when you then go and cut into your curls, you're creating more areas for there to be a variation of length, more capacity for it to curl, to tangle and mat up. When the hair is more blunt cut, right? Everything's on top of each other in a blunt way. You end up with less exposure of those ends and less exposure for tangling. So diva curl cutting method would be better for someone with a lot of breakage, brittleness, things like that. I like to cut a kinky method for tight curly hair. They were a part of a lot of internet drama. But that was, in my opinion, that was because whoever was performing that cut was not qualified. So those things can happen, right? Where someone takes a class like a diva curl class or a reso cut class or a kinky cut a kinky class, and maybe they've only done a day or 2 or 3 of cutting classes, and they might have gotten the certification, but what kind of a student were they? What kind of how do they perform on a day-to-day at their salon? Do they actually retain the information that they were taught? Are they actually providing quality cuts with experience, or are they just starting to learn? So in my salon, it takes an apprentice 2 to 3 years to get out of an apprenticeship program here. So they are cutting all day, every day on all textures of hair for 2 to 3 years before they can even not be an apprentice. They're not considered a curl specialist until they're doing hair for 5 to 10 years. Because I believe in mastering something. It takes, I think it's 10,000 hours to master something. And that's about 7 years at 40 hours a week. So you need to be cutting for 40 hours a week for 7 years to gain a mastery level understanding of that thing, right? So you're really looking for experience, not just a cut style or a cut name, a branded cut.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. What are some green flags and red flags to look out for when choosing a curly hairstylist?
So the initial green flag is a portfolio on Instagram or somewhere on a website or TikTok, wherever, but a robust portfolio. You want, like you said already, you want to see the texture that you have represented on the page. You want to see a desired shape, like do you like the shapes that are coming from that salon or that stylist specifically? Do you also really truly like you see transformation, and is the styling at the finished style a desirable style that for you? And is it better than what they came in with? Right. Some people are incredibly good at their own hair. And I have clients where I'm like, girl, here, you're better at it than me. But that's very rare, right? So in general, you should be finding someone who is has a lot of content, a lot of curly content, in my opinion. And then creating shape and creating a style that you like. Now, I have told clients of mine in the past who had moved to other cities, I think this stylist can cut your hair well. I don't think they're going to teach you anything about styling, but they can give you a good cut. Like I can tell from an Instagram, right? Like this is, they're getting good shapes. They're getting a, you know, quality cut. They're not going to teach you anything about styling because I've already taught you everything you need to know about styling. And so they're not better than you. But that's fine, right? So there's different reasons and why, and different scenarios for different people. And then another thing is when you're there, is the stylist slowing down and connecting with you and understanding you and where you're at in your journey, because everyone is at a different place in their journey. So you might have been wearing your natural hair for 20 years and you've never been taught how to do it, and you're frustrated and you're upset and you don't like it. But you also could be someone who just came out a year ago from wigs, weaves, and you don't know what your hair's like, or you've always flat ironed it, or you've always done blowouts. So there's just so many different things that the stylist needs to slow down and be thoughtful and have thoughtful questions and educate you while they're working on your hair. When you're paying for a curly cut, typically you're paying for not only their technical skill, but you're also paying for them educating you. So you should be getting some education.
What are some red flags we should look out for?
Red flags, like someone that kind of just jumps in and acts like they know what, like they know what's best for you really quickly. Like they're just too, they haven't asked your whys. They haven't asked how you live your lifestyle. They haven't asked you what products you're on. They haven't asked you like a lot of those kind of questions, and they're just kind of jumping in. And then again, someone who doesn't have the texture that you have on their page, and isn't giving like results that feel inspiring to you.
Got it. Yes, those are good green and red flags. I'm going to ask one more question before we move on. What should someone expect when they go for their first curly cut?
When they go for their first curly cut, it can be overwhelming, especially if you're working with someone who's been doing it a long time, or is in a salon like ours, where we are kind of downloading a lot of information at once on clients. Coming in open, right? Coming in open and ready to kind of receive that educational experience. It might not be as relaxing as a normal haircut, I would say. You know, sometimes that can come with time with your stylist, where you just kind of all settle in and relax together. But your first appointment, it's kind of like going to a class. And so just going in with an open mind and kind of preparing yourself to take notes if you need to take notes, or ask if you can take videos while they're styling, so that you can gain as much as you're able to from that appointment.
That's a great idea, actually, taking videos while they're styling, so you have a visual when you get home. That's a great idea.
Yeah. And even in the shampoo bowl, so I say styling starts in the shampoo bowl. So your shampoo, how do they shampoo? How do they detangle? Like, what are their tips and tricks for, like you, with your video, you're talking about pulling all the shampoo down the hair shaft. Like, those are really important key elements to then getting a good set.
Yes. Oh, awesome. Okay. So at this point, would you like to share your deck with our audience? Yep.
So this is pretty extensive, so we could just go through a few things. This is going over the consultation that we do at Promethean. It's the art of consultation. I will dive deeper into anything you guys want to dive deeper into, but I want to give time for talking because I love to answer questions. So that's where I think we'll thrive. If there are questions, just maybe write them down or put them in the chat, and then we'll go back to any of these that we want to go back to together. We can skip that one. Okay, so pre-consultation, setting the standard before they sit down. So this is where we are talking about how to come in with your prep, we personally at Promethean do not require a certain type of prep except for that it's detangled, because we're working with a lot of different textures, and some people are not comfortable in styling their hair. They're also not comfortable wearing their hair out in its natural state to work, and then they're coming to us after work. So we have very different I have a lot of feelings about that. And then, but I do understand for some stylists, they can't execute their job with if you have too much product in your hair or if you have it tangled. And so we do require detangled hair when you come into Promethean too. And what we want to see when we're asking for, when you see a stylist who's asking for a lot of things and a very specific prep, what they're asking for is because they want to see where the curls clump, they want to see where the heaviness is, they want to see where the shrinkage is, they want to see the density and the shape that your hair is just naturally creating, so that they can then curate the cut for that. So that's an important part. Consultation connection, open the space. So this is about that for us, creating a safe space, safe environment. Sometimes we even call them safe cuts or consensual cuts, because there are times where you might have a lot more damage than you're willing to take off. And so that's considered a safe cut. Those are things that we are going to be we talk about in the very beginning before we even start. Lifestyle, routines, mapping your routines. How often are you shampooing? How often do you want longevity? Do you want softness? Do you want definition over volume, volume over definition? How many days? All kinds of different questions, right, in that lifestyle. And then so yeah, this is the volume over definition, definition over volume, like talking through those things. Is your hair actually frizzy, or is it just dehydrated, or is it actually your surface texture that's more coarse, or slash maybe you don't have as much shine from your surface texture and not because your hair is damaged. We use inspiration photos, and at Promethean, we do not allow any cutting whatsoever to happen until we have until we've found a photo that will be a realistic representation of what you can have that day. So a lot of times clients will come in with very unrealistic expectations of what their hair would look like. And I'm not talking about texture so much as I'm talking about shape, length. Can this person's hair actually become that shape? Can this person's hair actually finish after a haircut and be that length? So those kinds of things we're looking at more than the actual texture itself. So consultation continued, expectation setting, we do a lot of that. Some cuts are about building trust, but we did talk about that. Service plan is, we want to know, I reiterate, so once we've talked a lot, right? There's a lot of talking, and then I'm like, okay, I think what we're going to do today, what I'm hearing is we're going to build this shape here. So I'm touching the hair, I'm moving it, I'm showing them where we're going to, like, that we're going to have some framing around the face, and then we're going to keep X amount of length, and we're going to do just reiterating what we talked about, and that way there's nothing lost in talking, because talking can sometimes be a little bit hard. So we just go right back over, we do, and then we have a plan for that day. So look and learn, observe before touching too much. So we definitely are looking at how is the hair, where's the density, where's the elasticity loss, where's the multiple different textures, where's the porosity. That's a huge conversation. Density distribution. So the tangle risk, do you see that there? That's what I was talking about. When you do a reso cut, for instance, you can have a huge tangle risk because of a density loss in the ends versus where it's sitting in the middle of the hair. Okay, breakage, split ends, fairy knots. What we do is a white paper test at our salon. I will talk through that a little bit more. The white paper test with all of our clients, our new clients, we take a 1/2 inch thick section by 2 inches wide section at the crown, nape, and middle above the ear to assess how much density loss. Sorry, there's a bar. How much density loss and or split ends exist. Taking pictures on the client's phone allows them to have a record of how far they've come on this journey and builds trust. So that is before we cut. We have that. That is another way to address the issue with the curly cuts don't work thing that happened on the internet streets. Full hair scalp analysis. So we're looking at strand thickness, breakage versus healthy ends, chemical history, growth patterns. Like we go in on our consults. Okay, then this is all assessing. So this is assessing damage, detangling strategies at the bowl, routines, product audit. We do a lot of auditing of products. Diagnose, educate. So what you're experiencing, these are some examples. What you're experiencing isn't frizz, it's dehydration. We're going to shift that today. The lack of shine might be your natural surface texture and not damage. Your lack of water absorption is likely from coating on your hair and not from your hair being low porosity. Before photos capture transformation starting point. Okay. Cutting philosophies. So this is the diva curl cut, reso cut, weed ag cut it kinky. We have some notes on that. Promethean's position, we are not locked into one method. We pro from all approaches based on what the hair needs. We also do stretched cuts and wet cutting depending on the client's needs. Okay, so styling education, lots of styling education, drying plan, longevity and sleep care. Consultations are not a step, it's the foundation. Assessment is not just observation, it's strategy. We are not just cutting hair, we are teaching people how to understand and care for themselves.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This was quite a breakdown. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
All right.
so this is actually our part of my curriculum for stylists, right? So I think it's so nice to give to open that, like, take the veil off for the clients too and the consumers.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to open up the floor for anybody who has any questions for Rachel. Now is the time to ask a professional hairstylist, guys.
Anything.
Yes, if you want to type it in the chat box, you can do that. If you want to raise your hand, or you can just call out your question.
Hey, Demir, there's someone with their hand up. I think it is. Yeah. Listen, and she's had her hand up for a few minutes, so let's see what she has to say.
Lycia, go ahead.
That was a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll take it down.
Okay, so while we're waiting for questions to come in, what caught my attention is, what is a stretched cut?
So stretch it, so you can stretch it dry. So a lot of curly cutting is low tension or no tension cutting.
Right.
We do stretch cuts where we either stretch it dry and then we are cutting which means we're like combing through and stretching and cutting. And then the other option is with wet cutting, also stretching the hair and cutting those ends. A lot of times that's a great option for just a quick trim. Because when I've already established a relationship with that client and their hair is in a good shape, right? And I just need to dust those ends. The reason why I like the stretch cut is because even if you get a lot of shrinkage in one area, you still need that piece trimmed. So it's a curl by curl method that's just faster, right? So instead of me having to take all the time to literally go one curl at a time and dust the end, I can dust all of the ends quickly with a stretch cut.
Got it. Thank you. Paige Childer says, would it be possible to see the bullet points 1 through 2 of the consultation section again? I didn't get to screenshot it.
Yeah.
We got you, Paige.
I have a
1
question.
through 2 of the assessment. Yes, go ahead.
Question. Okay. So how do you have a conversation? And I know this has happened. Someone who comes in and their ends are just damaged, right? And you know that they really need to have a significant, like they need to have more of a cut than a trim. How do you manage that conversation?
Yeah, so for me, I do the white paper test, right? So I think of that almost like almost like getting a silk press, right? If you go in and get a silk press on tight curly hair, for instance, or even anybody's hair, when you try to straighten the hair, you start to see everything. The client sees everything. I as a professional can see damage when you're 10 feet away from me.
Mhm.
But when you, as a client, you need to be able to see it so that you can consent to that cut, right? And so I want them to see it in that paper so they can see where that density loss is. They can see where the split ends are, because I take close up, like almost like microscopic pictures. So you can see the split ends. Even sometimes there's split ends all the way up the hair shaft from braids and wigs and weaves and high tension styling and slip backs and ponytails and all, all the things. So I basically guide them through exactly where their hair's at, almost like a doctor, and then we make a plan. One is going to do safety cut, because that's okay. I will take a 1/4 inch. Or I will take the 6 inches that your hair needs, or we can come up with a plan where we do 3 inches now, and then another 1/2 inch, and then another 1/2 inch. But I literally tell them, if your hair is in this state, it will not grow, right? So that's that 3 inches of hair that you want to keep. I will keep it. And I actually tell them, I think we should keep it today, because I want to build trust with you. I want you to come back. I don't want to traumatize you and then your body doesn't want to come back and see me. Right. So even if your mind knows I should get this haircut, your body's not ready, then we don't do it. So we do a little trim, and then I tell them, okay, it's going to take, in 3 months, we're going to do 1 inch, and then every month from then, we're going to do another inch. And so we literally map it out. How long is it going to take me to get that damage off this person's hair? You can take that. And then how long does that take? And then how, so then they know, okay, it's going to be a year before my hair is even healthy. Not this haircut. It's going to be an entire year before it's healthy. And then it's going to be another year before we get any length retention.
Wow. So it's all about managing those expectations and being on the same page, right?
Yeah. And we make a whole plan.
Yeah.
So they know exactly what they're consenting to, or what, and also you're paying a lot of money. And so what we don't want here is that you go get your hair blown out or silk pressed somewhere else, and then you say, why are my ends so bad? And it's because you told me you wanted a trim, but I didn't tell you that your hair needs a huge cut.
Got it. And on that note, I have another question I could ask all.
No, yeah.
Let me tell you. And I hope I'm not asking anything you already you went over while I was trying to finish our technical issues. But on the note of cost, how much should someone expect to pay?
Well, I don't know, because of the, I do feel like different places have different cost of living. I do believe that people should be making more than minimum wage who do a craft.
Yeah.
I do believe that people who are caring for other people mentally and emotionally should be making more than double minimum wage. So I'm obviously biased because I'm a hairstylist, right? And I'm doing this work every day. But there's a huge cost to learning how to do curly hair from because it's not taught in beauty schools yet. And so I do think that you're looking at typically a stylist, even if they're independent contractor, only takes home half. So if you paid them $200 for 3 hours, we would have to do some math. Okay, let's say $300 for 3 hours. Sorry, make it easy. That means they're taking home $50 an hour. home $50 an hour at max, how many hours can they actually physically work? Like the labor of being a hairstylist is very hard. So a lot of people can only work 20 hours a week or 30 hours a week. They're not doing 40 to 45 hours a week like a normal 9-to-5 job. And with that $50 an hour, they are not getting any 401k. They are not getting any medical, dental, vision benefits. They're not getting anything that a normal job, right, would give you. So even though they're making a lot more an hour than someone else, they're not making as much as we think, right? And they're not able to save, and they're not able to buy a home, and they're not able to go on vacations. And I want my stylist to be able to do, like my nail tech. I want my nail tech to do all the things and thrive, right? That's how I feel about service providers. I want them thriving, not struggling. And so it does take, you know, you're only going every 3 months. So it is an investment, and it is a big chunk of money. And you want to vet your stylist so it's worth it. Because I did see in the comments that someone goes home and fixes their hair after, and that is very fair. It's just then you have the wrong stylist, right? Like sometimes it's a unicorn, just like a doctor, right? There's a lot of bad doctors, and then there's one unicorn doctor that's like really incredible and worth that time and worth that effort to try to find that unicorn doctor.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm Atlanta, and our cost of living, I guess, is probably a little bit higher than everywhere, and it's probably higher than the median in the U.S. And I do pay about $300.
Yeah.
I go every 3 months, but I will tell you, I've had some terrible haircuts, and I paid for them, right? And so I'm definitely willing to pay a little bit more to make sure that I have a really great, have a good relationship with my stylist. She understands my hair. She's mapping out a plan. We have great communication, and so I think it is worth it.
Yeah, because it's I think of it like a clothing, right? Would you spend? Not everyone's going to spend $100 on a pair of pants, but some people do, and those people can also spend $300 on a haircut, because those pair of pants you're going to wear maybe once a week, right? Your hair you're wearing every day. So you're investing in something and you're not only investing in your hair, typically you're investing in your scalp health and hair loss prevention, like really. So there's a depth there that's different when you do find that unicorn stylist who you can trust and that really does listen to you.
Agreed. And I'm gonna say one more thing before we let Paige go.
Okay.
We were at a trade show recently, and we had a loctician in our booth, and she's fantastic. She knows all the things. You guys would get along great. And she was saying one thing that's really important. Like you're of course, we know our hairstylist is our friend. She's our therapist. All those things, right? But also because you know that a lot of health issues will surface at your scalp and your hair before the rest of your body, because your body's trying to keep your organs alive, right? And so you'll notice the thinning and the dehydration and all that on your hair before you will the rest of your body. And so
100%.
There's been cases where she says that she's like diagnosed health issues based on the condition of your hair.
Over and over and over, I'm diagnosing health issues or perimenopause or all, and I obviously do not diagnose, but I am sending them to get the diagnosis that I know in the depth of my soul and my knowledge that they have, and they're healing and finding a lot. So we're the first line of defense when it comes to healthcare. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's really cool.
Paige, go ahead.
Hi.
Hey.
So I have a question. I don't know if this is possible or not. I haven't really seen many people talk about it. I love having my hair curly a lot, but I also like to sometimes blow dry it out. And I want to have a cut that works with my curls and builds volume and helps because I have really long hair. But I also don't want to look like I have several uneven spots when I blow dry it out. What would I ask for if that's possible?
It is possible. I do it all the time.
I have it.
Yeah. But so the reason it's possible is you need a master stylist. You're not going to get a baby stylist. You're not going to get a $200 stylist. You're not going to get a $100 stylist. You're going to get a $300 stylist, or wherever you're at. I don't know. My my curly cuts are 215, but what I do, and then my curl transformations, which is where the detox deep conditioning service comes in, is 285. I do that on purpose to stay lower than everyone else in Portland. All the master stylists in Portland are around 350. I'm sacrificing sacrificial love for my people. Okay, but for you, and you would ask for whatever cut you want that's curly, and then your stylist would know, okay, well, that's going to make your density so low on your ends that when it is straight, it's going to look bad. So that's one conversation that they should be able to push back on, right? Let's say you want the curly shag and then it's really tapered at the bottom. That's not going to be a great blowout cut, but if you have the density for it to support it and you're okay with it getting thin at the ends, then by all means do it, because I've done it before for a lot of people. What I do is I say, your cut's going to look a little crazy when you blow it out for the first time, but you're going to come in and it's going to be free, and I'm going to trim it. I'm going to dust those ends, and then we're going to be fine.
Okay.
And if you put a bump in your hair, like if you do a blowout and then there's a little bump in it like hers, you see how it's not straight? There's a little bit of a wave to it. It's going to look beautiful and cascading. I mean, the cut should look gorgeous. But bone straight, it's going to look a little weird.
Mm.
I can't fully see her.
Oh, sorry.
It's like it's not like curly, but it's a wave.
Yeah.
How it's wavy on the ends. So that's called a bump. Like if you bump the hair on the ends,
Okay.
then you'll never have that problem where you see all those inconsistencies. But you can always try to find a stylist who's willing to, even if you have to pay them, right? I'll pay. Can I pay for a bang? Like, you know, a quick, can I pay for 15 minutes of your time to dust my ends to make them even? Does that make sense?
Okay, so basically ask for a bump and dusting.
No. Well, are you getting your blowouts done by someone else? Do you mind showing us your hair?
I mean, yeah, so I'm not getting like a professional blowout. I mean, just like wanting to have my hair like sometimes.
You wouldn't,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, when you straighten your hair, you want to bump it. You're not going to ask the stylist for a bump. You're going
Okay.
to ask the
You
curly
give it
stylist
like
for
a-
whatever haircut you want.
Like I curled it and I took the round brush and brushed it out, but like did a really kind of dramatic curl at the ends. And then it smooths out and it's not stick straight, but then you can't really notice the layers as much. And it gives it like that pretty cascading look. But then if I were to have it out, it'd be smooth and it would look straight up here with some volume and some wave at the
Just
bottom.
the wave at the bottom.
And then when I curl it and I style it curly, it just, you know, obviously it's a curly cut, so it bounces back up.
Okay, so I have a round brush that also is a blow dryer. Would that work with doing that?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
You just
Yeah.
turn it
Yeah.
like when you get to the end, right? So you're round brushing. I don't know if you can see me, but you're round
Yeah.
brushing, and then you keep turning, and so your ends should like wrap up, and so you get this little curl at the end, and that's the lump.
Okay.
Or you could do it with your curling iron or your flat iron, right?
I prefer not, but yes.
I don't ever use that. I just use the blow dryer.
The thing is, when you have heat from a like imagine I take my blow dryer and I'm putting it on my skin like this, I'm not going to get a 3rd degree burn. If I take my flat iron and my curling iron and I put it on my skin like this for 10 seconds and get it nice and hot and ready to curl, I'm 3rd degree burning my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So the heat from a curling iron and a flat iron is completely different than the heat from a round brush.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you can get it with a round brush, that's great.
Okay.
Okay, so just essentially though, ask for a light dusting.
Yeah, say I like to wear my hair straight sometimes. Can I come back when I do a blowout? Are you okay if I come back in and you just dust the ends to make sure that they look clean, like cohesive?
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Hey guys, we have a question for you in the chat box. What other topics do you guys want us to cover in the next Curl Corner? So if you guys can jump into the chat box and let us know what topics you're interested in us chatting about. Does anybody else have any other questions for Rachel before we head on out? I have a quick one, me. So I'm recovering from bad bleached highlights.
Oh,
My curls were, this is healthy. I'm so happy. It's been a journey, but they were so stretched out. And is it possible to be blonde and curly and healthy, have healthy curls?
Yes.
How?
So you have to do, so your stylist would need to do very, very low volume developer and very, very slow. So imagine, this is how I teach it in, just a second. If you take a piece of paper, right, this is your hair. And what's happening when you're getting your hair lightened is you're stabbing holes in your hair, right? Mm-hmm. In your hair shaft. This is your cortex. Your cortex is being destroyed. But what's happening is you are then letting light in, right? So the more you stab the holes, there's holes that are going to be stabbed. The more you do that, the more exposure of light is going through this paper. That's what's lightening your hair. More light is being exposed through your cortex. When you do a chemical service and you go fast, it's like stabbing like this. Mm-hmm. Imagine how much ripping and tearing is happening inside that cuticle, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry, cortex. And the cuticle is getting torn up, but that's okay. So what you want is you want slow, because if I'm slow and controlled when I'm lifting, mm-hmm. I'm not creating as many rips and tears in this paper, yeah. Right?
Right.
I can get just as light. I can get just as many holes. I can get just as light, but I just need to go low and slow and no heat. Mm-hmm. And then you want bond builders and the right products to, so protein, yeah. No oils, no butters, no waxes, no silicones, no polyquantonians. You mm-hmm. want to keep all the water to be able to go in. If water can enter, protein can enter. If protein can enter, then the bond builders and the nutrients and all of the yummy, delicious things can enter the hair shaft and start filling you back up and fill in those holes. Now, they're never going to be permanently full. Mm-hmm. So you are always going to need bond building and treatments when you have very, very light curly hair, period.
Mm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Till it's cut off.
Thank you. So Adria, it's Aaliyah said, can we have a trichologist go over scalp health? I think that's a great idea.
Yes, great idea.
Thank you, Aaliyah. Okay, guys. So again, if you have any topics you'd like us to cover, please add them to the chat box. And everyone who's here tonight, please add your email address into the chat box so we can make sure you get your Curl Cash. We are so happy you guys made it tonight. Let me show you the last slide with the code for tonight. Okay, so if you would like to purchase anything from EcoSlay's website and use Curly Cuts 15 for 15% off your next order, valid until midnight, May 2nd. That's a little gift to you guys. And thank you so much for joining us.
The other little tip I would say for consumers and clients is to bring your products. So if you have EcoSlay products and you're on a tight regimen and you're very strict about your regimen and you don't want to use what the stylist is using, mm-hmm. Bring it with you.
It's a great idea.
So ask them, I'm allergic to a lot of things, or I have very sensitive hair, or would you be willing to let me bring in my shampoo, my conditioner, my stylers? And it's a nice way to introduce them to EcoSlay as well.
That's a great idea. Really quick, Rachel, which is your favorite EcoSlay product?
Jello Shot.
Jello Shot? Oh, why?
It's the best hold and the best shine. And I use it on wavy hair to kinky coily hair. I can use it for edges. I can use it for anything and everything. I want to eat it, but I can't eat it. So I'm just over here. I'm obsessed. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very sticky, so you have to use a lot of water, but that's it. It's the best product. It's the best gel for, it gives you the most longevity and the most shine of any gel on the market, period.
Awesome. Yes, it's awesome. Thank you, Rachel.
Mhm.
Melanie, will this be a rebroadcast? I missed the first half. We will email it to you, Melanie. Yep.
Hey, Demira, on that note, I was wondering, I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but since we did start late and there was all the technical difficulties, do you wonder maybe we could do it maybe in a couple more weeks or something for people who may have missed it?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
What do you think,
Fridays
Rachel?
are better for me. I don't know what days of the week you guys usually use, but Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm booked for 6 months. But
Okay.
I made an exception today. So
Yeah.
if we're talking about maybe redoing this with us, if you were talking about us, then yes, I would love to come again. Monday or Fridays are best.
Okay, perfect. Yep, we'll get together and see. I just know that this was fantastic. A lot of great
Yes.
information. A lot of people came in halfway. I'm getting emails now like, oh my goodness, what happened? I drove halfway across the world to make it.
So cute. Yeah, no, I would love to come back on, and maybe we can even get some people's questions like
Before.
before. Yeah.
So we
That'd
can.
be a great idea.
Yeah.
We have one question, if you don't mind,
I would love.
Rachel.
I can chat till 5,
Okay.
and it's 4 right now.
Awesome. Does coloring gray have a poor impact on hair density? Mine is thinning, and I'm thinking of coloring my roots over 10
Every
weeks.
10 weeks.
Every 10 weeks might be impacting the follicles or scalp health.
It absolutely can affect your hair. It can absolutely affect your scalp, but it's the quality of the color that's being used, and it's the quality of the developer that's being used, just like anything else, right? You can have a farm-to-table hamburger, or you can have a McDonald's hamburger. Pickles, lettuce, tomatoes, onions on a bun. It's exactly the same thing, right? But it is completely different, and the way that it affects your life and your body and your hair and your scalp is so different. So when you have a high quality color and developer, and then you have that care from the products, you will there's an impact, but then it's like, yeah, okay, maybe I shouldn't have a hamburger all the time, but like there's not a farm to table hamburger is not going to destroy your health. A McDonald's hamburger is equivalently going to, like we all know it's going to destroy your health. So